Hello, everyone. It's Graham Cope with another Move TV. Do you know what? I'm emotional already this morning because me and Suzy have been talking prior to coming on and doing this one about South Africa. You know, Stephen Biko, the apartheid, and it's just. I'm overwhelmed already. So, Suzy, you're a very interesting person. I was saying before we came on that I've watched you over the past months or so from afar on, we're in the same group, Move. I've looked at your comments on LinkedIn. I've looked at your comments on WhatsApp group, your support group, etc. And you just radiate positivity, and you radiate a real caring nature for everybody else. Where does that come from?
Oh, that's so sweet and so kind. I don't know the answer to that. I just am a happy little bunny. I'm just it's what I'm meant to be here on the earth to do, is to instill positivity in people. That's my why.
That's a great why to have, isn't it?
Yeah, because we're all supposed to be happy, fulfilled, and living life to our fullest. And I guess the why and where it stemmed from, that I understood this, was I was I was a salesperson for 22 years. And I did really well at selling. It was the only thing I could really do. And I think the pivotal time in my life was during I was having a CPD review with my sales director, and he was pondering and saying, what will we do with you next? What kind of training? He said, you're smashing your targets, you're retaining your clients. You don't need sales training, but if you don't mind me saying, Suzy, I think you could do with something different, such as maybe some personal development training. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, the drama. You're always late. You're always rushing. He said, you stress me out. You're shooting yourself in the foot all the time. Why don't you do some research into some personal development? I was back in Cape Town at the time, and I landed up going to something called the Consciousness Coaching Academy. And that stuff, people go, "Ooh, interesting. Did this teach you to be punctual, Suzy?" No, not at all. But I got slapped in the face with some absolute life-changing things, such as victimhood, blaming, rationalizing, and justifying was harming me. So about accountability, responsibility, just beautiful awarenesses, and just in terms of the fact that we are the masters of our lives and we can create whatever we want. And that's where it stemmed from.
And that's where it all changed. I mean,
I'm director.
Yeah. It actually taking you back a little bit there, because I started off by saying what your nature's like, and actually, to be a really good salesperson, you have to be empathetic, don't you? Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say anything bad about any of the bad salespeople out there, but there are. But we all come across. Put it this way: we all come across bad salespeople from time to time, and I think one of the things that makes them a bad salesman is that it feels like a sale.
Well, I mean, this is what I teach salespeople to stop doing.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to swear?
Try not to, but.
So I do swear a little bit, but basically I teach salespeople to ditch old style, sleazy sales tactics and embrace old style, common courtesy and common sense. People just want to be dealt with, with authenticity. They just forget all the sleaze and the coercive leading questions and all this nonsense. Especially in this day and age, we've got the information technology. Buyers have got all the information they need. They don't need features and benefits. They come in at a much higher level, and it's about collaboration and partnership. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm here to teach people. Ditch that old stuff, forget the swear word.
Oh, I find it really interesting. We just before we came on as well, we were talking about not watching the news and why we shouldn't watch the news, because although it's important to know what's out there and what's going on in the world, at the same time, I was saying that journalism quite often isn't journalism these days. And when I was taught to be a journalist, it was about trying to get the balance out there so that people could make their own decisions. And so much journalism these days is an opinionated view of the world, which is not necessarily, which is slanted.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I've got no problem with it, but the problem I have with it is the fact that it is so imbalanced and it is so heavily, I would go as far as saying 99.999% focused on negativity, with a little teeny weeny, oh, we've had a little baby giraffe born here. Isn't that wonderful? And we could just have the balance, and we could have, there's so many wonderful people in this world, great, kind people all over the place. If we could just have a little bit more of that. I feel it's just utterly irresponsible the way they just permeate people with just negativity. That's just my
but people unfortunately sort of set themselves up for this as well. I mean, we're here on broadcasting on several social media platforms. I mean, I've had it from time to time where someone's gone, you can't comment on my post saying anything in response to, in response to my
you
message.
may not have free speech, do you mean?
Yeah, well, we can't have a difference of opinion. And you just think, but surely that's how we all learn. I mean, I think as long as when you do put a difference of opinion up, you do it politely and courteously, and you acknowledge their viewpoint, and you say, I understand where you're coming from, and that's great. But there is a difference of opinion, which is this. I don't think that's, you don't have to be aggressive about it, but some people
art of tact, isn't it?
Absolutely.
State what you need nicely.
Be nice in everything. Be nice in everything, because I think that's absolutely right. So tell us, how did this then translate into what you're doing now?
Well, it was just something that I just fell so deeply in love with. I mean, that director, his foresight, I still speak to him. He changed my life, really. And what actually happened was I then invested and continued on studying and learning a lot around all of that, consciousness coaching and stuff like that. And I guess I am, if you meet me, you would laugh because I'm only 5 foot tall, but I had a pair of twins, which I manifested actually because I wanted children, and they came at 33, and I got a boy and a girl, which was rather amazing. But I think for me, it was about, I feel a little bit like the poacher turned gamekeeper. I was that sales victim. I know all those stories, but more to the point, it's not about showing people that they're doing things wrong. It's more about, this is really impacting, that statement, the truth will set you free. When you tell a whole load of excuses to people, you store it in here, and it kind of builds up an inner picture, which impacts your self-belief and self-confidence. And you don't realize that until you stop doing it. And suddenly it's like free space. So I think it was around the fact that I had my beautiful twins that I wanted to stay with them, and I wanted to start the business. But it has not been easy. And I was a top 10 sales achiever in the UK for 5 years on the trot, who then discovered when I started my business, I couldn't sell me. So it was very much to do with self-confidence and not having a track record and needing to feel authentic and not fake it till you make it and all that stuff. But I'm here and I love it, and my business is taking off thanks to Move. A lot of my business comes through Move, and
which is great.
Yeah, they are the best bunch of people.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to talk about Move because I'll start crying.
Well, I will in a bit. So I just get a packet of Kleenex or other brands of tissue are available, and have it at the ready, because we will go there. All right. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You say it's difficult to sell yourself. Is that primarily because you've never had to sell yourself previously? You were always selling a product or a service?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that when the whole thing is, it's a mindset game. So when I was selling a product, I used to work for Rent a Kill Initial. I used to be Sue, come to talk to you about the loo. And I'd say to people, come on, I used to work in London in the West End, and it was such a scream. I'd be like, come on, it's not every day a girl invites you to the toilets. Come with me.
Oh
We
my.
would sell, and literally the money that we made and the incentives that I won and everything were phenomenal. But when you become the product, it's then all about, oh, I haven't yet made it. I haven't got this track record. I can't show people this, that. And it was just, very much then about, where the hell does this come from? And I tracked it back, and it's childhood beliefs that you take on. And so then I was really passionate about getting this message out to women, because I noticed that with lots of females, they were feeling the same about selling, and they were saying, oh, it's because we don't know how. And I was like, no, it's not because you don't know how. It's because you've got a mindset. And no disrespect to the sales process, but it was devised for men, by men, before women were even in the workplace. It is very efficient and effective, but it hasn't got, we spoke about the balance. There's no balance. And like, everything needs to be yin, yang, ebb, flow. Everything should be balanced. So the heart piece, the authenticity piece, the female piece is missing. And that's why so many women struggle. And I was like, if you can read, you can sell, because you can read the sales process. It's about belief, inner belief. You've got to believe in yourself or the product that you sell.
It's interesting. I see, especially across social media and social media selling, because obviously that's what I'm involved in as well. I see both men and women struggling with it, but I think there's a struggle with the authenticity piece as well, because of a couple of things. One is that there are some people who are trying to fake authenticity and actually are looking at it from a very clinical sales perspective, and they're going, that's working. If I talk about that in my life, then people pull in with that. If I talk about that, and they will literally go around a platform like LinkedIn, looking at where all of the heartstring pieces work, and then try and build a persona of themselves like that. And then there are other people that will say, well, yeah, but they'll get caught out eventually because it's not them. But if all of their construct is online, will they ever get caught out? Because, people can be really good at that. But the other thing that I find that people do struggle with is on the authenticity side of things. You said about faking till you make it. Whilst I don't believe in faking it till you make it, I do believe there's some things you don't share. and I think
I have a problem of oversharing.
Yeah. Because I think sometimes when I read posts from people and they go, actually, my business isn't doing so well. Actually, this isn't working. Actually, I'm not really good at this. I think that's too much.
I love that you say that. It's so true. It really is. I mean, I'm an emotional intelligence practitioner, psychometric practitioner, and I've done the emotional intelligence IQ psychometric assessments 4 times, and I'm very high in emotional self-expression, and absolutely you can shoot yourself in the foot with that stuff. There's a time and a place for everything. So I see the relevance in that,
Yeah, I think it's relevant to say what you've learnt on the journey. So I think the marketer of me would say it's how you then construct that. It's fine to say, I thought this was going to be easy, but it wasn't easy. But I've learned this along the line, and by learning this, I'm now a better solution for you, because you and me are both on the same kind of journey, and therefore we're akin in where we're both going.
Yeah.
But I've actually got something I can give you along the lines that along that lines that will actually help you. That's
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yes. And I think the key thing is, though, that confidence and courage comes from doing. So one of the good things that which I did right in the beginning is to if you need to be authentic and honest, is to run pilot programs, for example, and say to people, you know, I've been in this for this long. I have so much value, but in this actual shape and format, this is the first time I'm delivering it. So because of that, I'm doing it at a slightly reduced price so that I can get your feedback.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good way of dealing with that.
Do you know what? I totally agree. When I first came into doing this, I did a load of work for nothing to begin with, actually.
And get the testimonials and have the experience, because that's where you feel confident.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Exactly
Yeah.
that. I just said, look, I will do it for a lower price, or I will do it for a period for a lower price, or I will do this for free on the basis of I need you to, you know, if you find it useful and you think that this works, I want you to write about it. You know, and that's
in exchange
fine.
for those testimonials, 100%.
Yeah, because that's what counts, you know. And I think you've got to be prepared to put yourself, and that's a confidence in itself, isn't it? Prepared to put yourself in a particular place and say, well, actually, rather than lower my value, I know what my value is, but I need to show the worth of my value to a broader market, and therefore I'm prepared to do something for, you know, at a price for a period, but actually state that and say, I know that I'm worth this. I'm going to do it for this because of this. And then at the end of that period, you either pay me proper money or we don't work together anymore, because you know, we've got to move on.
When you get those testimonials and that feedback, and they come from real, authentic experiences that people have had, it just changes the whole ball game, and then your confidence can really go up very, very quickly. Yeah, I don't like the fake it till you make it thing. I think it's fake. I was going to do a swear word then. Try not to swear.
It always strikes me when I talk to someone like you that there's similarities between my journey and yours, which are that I spent a long time in a particular career path, which I was very successful in. But then there was an epiphany moment, I suppose. And, you know, you realize that actually what you're really good at, or what you can be really good at, is actually teaching other people to do what it is that you do really well.
I seem to think that the vast majority of us have got very similar journeys, just with different kind of things, but, you know, very similar.
I think so.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. So I'm just going to ask you, in terms of social media and the different platforms, how do you find the different platforms? I mean, as someone that's, you know, obviously got this particular set of skills and a particular mindset about, you know, the way sales are done. I mean, for example, when you come on LinkedIn and you know, 5 minutes after connecting with someone, you suddenly see a message coming up like, buy this.
I just ignore them.
Does it kind of make you just go, you know?
I don't let it upset me, to be honest. But for me, I'm all about energy, and for me, you know, whether it be if you're driving in a car and you're being rude, or if you're just like ramming, it's like somebody running up to you in a network meeting and ramming a business card up your nostrils.
Yeah,
that's how it feels energetically. But I don't allow that to bother me. I do understand everybody's just trying to do the best they can do and make some money at the end of the day. So I just don't engage with people. Yeah, I don't engage with them.
Well, you say that, you see, because I like to turn it round. But I've always been like that. I mean, it's when I was younger and the double glazing salesman used to phone up, I used to try and then end up selling them something, because you know, for me, it was the challenge, right? I started my first business when I was 11, Suzy, and I I just always thought, well, look, they're phoning up to sell me double glazing. I don't need double glazing, so why not try and sell them something while they're on the phone? But then when these people come into your inbox and they're trying to sell you something, perhaps what you need to do is go back to them and say, do you know what? You'd actually really benefit from my services because I can teach you how to sell.
I've done that once or twice, I'll be honest. I have contacted a company once or twice and said, you really do need to have a look at this because clearly it's not thing. Yeah.
Clearly it's not working.
Yeah, it's any of this pushiness and stuff like that, it's you can sniff it, that the savvy buyer sniffs it a mile off. So any kind of like it feels like sales attack.
Yeah.
They like waiting and they, and then the minute one little piece of thing is shared, they're like, whoa! And it's like, it's just so yesterday. But I think more to the point, it's about understanding for businesses that it's not just about getting that sale. It's about retaining that client, growing that base, getting all those referrals. So those are the things that I teach people that, stop selling, start serving. It's about working in a collaborative partnership with your prospects to get them the best. You don't need to sell anything but you do need to believe in what you sell. So if you're selling stuff you don't believe in it, just go somewhere different, I would say.
Is there an ideal client for you, Suzy, or is it anybody?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all about values. It's all about values for me. We need to be, because I won't work with somebody if I can't help them. I don't want to work with just anybody. I would definitely not be everybody's cup of tea. That's absolutely fine. So mine is all about, that similar thing of the companies that I work with are invested in, they see the value in training and developing their people. They don't see that as, those people are an investment to them. I just tell them straight, because the stuff I teach is very much the success of it, coming to fruition is based on the action they take.
Yeah. Any particular services or products, based services
funny you say that, because Mark's always trying to tell me, to be more specific to industry, but it is slightly problematic for me because I have all sorts of different industries that I work with, in the financial sector. It's not just sometimes salespeople, it's sometimes processing teams, admin teams, anybody who communicate and who are customer facing. But I'm working with a company that they sell data. They're a very big company, all sorts of different sectors. My commonality is I help human beings. So.
Well, there you go. I don't think that needs to be any more specific. I think that is specific. You work with humans. You don't work with dogs or children, maybe.
I've got some children, but they're quite grown up now.
Yeah, there you go. So you kind of avoid anything that you shouldn't act with. That's the kind of key.
It's about the human being, because what I teach, I don't know if you know emotional intelligence, but on the wheel, everything starts with self-awareness, mindset, all that stuff that happened to me. The mindset piece and that victimhood and accountability and responsibility, that's the foundational piece. Because you can train your sales teams till you're blue in the face, and if they're not going to engage and make those changes from within like I did, you only have to look at the fact that billions are spent on sales training, but yet still the biggest problem for businesses are sales results. It doesn't really compute. So it's work with the individual human that needs to be done.
Before I ask you about moves, so get those tissues ready. One last question about sales, because having been someone that's been a sales director myself, I've trained other salespeople. I've had a lot of sales training myself. I really quite enjoy the sales process. Do you enjoy it if someone's selling to you and they're doing it well?
Yeah, because I think when they do it well, you don't feel like you're being sold to.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, because then it's just a conversation. And this is what I teach salespeople to do. I tell them to tell the truth and say, I'm not selling anything to you until I talk to you for a long time to find out if you need us, you know, and be honest and open about that.
But I actually think it puts a smile on my face when someone's doing that with me, and I'm going, I know what you're doing because I've you know done it all,
it's
and
nice.
I love what you're doing because you're doing it absolutely right. You are not selling to me. You're engaging with me as a human being, and you're making me feel good. You're making me feel like
you've hit it on the head. You've hit it on the head. Yeah, absolutely. Because the whole thing is when they trust you and they feel safe, that's when they will communicate with you. That's when they will share stuff with you. But when there's all this sleazy stuff like 3 yes closes, or, you know, people seem to think empathy is repeating back what someone said, paraphrasing. No, that's not empathy. That's listening. That's a listening skill. And it can go horribly wrong when you're, so I heard you say such and such. So if I satisfy that, would you be happy? No, that's coercion. So, you know, all of those things, the stuff that I teach is just so simple and so subtle, but it's those little small things that are missed that are making, and that trust you're talking about, triggers a buyer, and they basically just want to get rid of you, and they say, just put me a quote together and you'll never catch them again.
I have this conversation over and over again in my life, which is lovely because of the kind of people that I work with as well. That's why I called my social media marketing business A Better Way of Life, because I'm trying to get, absolutely, because I am trying to get people to adopt a better way of life. It's a lifestyle. It's about actually being better people, which is why, nicely segued, I kind of got interested in Move, because, you know, they had this catchline, you know, making better human beings. Was that something that kind of caught your eye when you first saw Move?
Don't know about the catchphrase. What caught my eye, actually, in all honesty, was Mark Waldron, because you couldn't miss him because he was everywhere. He was walking everywhere, wasn't he? Videos.
He doesn't stop
everywhere.
walking, actually.
Over COVID. No, he never stops walking. And then one day there was a post and he was actually standing still. He was at an award, and I actually posted and went, oh, you can stand still.
You can stop.
I've never seen him stand still before.
Fantastic, yeah.
and I will be honest, I used to think, wow, he's handsome. I've told Steph, his wife, I said, oh, he's not easy on the eye. The Scouse accent. I love the Scousers. I'm quite close to Liverpool. I'm really close. And I just love these people around here. So no, it wasn't the slogan of that, but now you point it out, the ethos of Move and everything is exactly my ethos, because my role is to help people feel better so they can do better. You know, quit all the nonsense, feel better, do better. And so, yes, it ties in beautifully with that.
Yeah, I was just so happy to find a community meeting. And I like calling it that because I don't really like the word networking, which wasn't the same as everything else that I'd partaked in during the COVID time, and I'd actually started some of my own network type meetings online during the COVID period. It was part of my exploratory area into what I was going to do next. And I desperately wanted to make spaces for thought leadership and to learn from each other. And I was going around seeing so much of this. Let's meet. Tell us in 40 seconds what it is that you want. You know, then I'm going to shove you in a room with someone, and you're going to get another 30 seconds where you're going to sell to each other. And then, you know, after an hour of that, you come out exhausted and feeling like you've been punched in the face millions of times. It just really isn't for me. And it might work brilliantly for lots of people out there, but I personally don't think it does, because there's no growth and development of you or your business involved in that. it's just, you know, like a meat market. Dare I say it? You know, meat market, but for business. You know, if Tinder did business, that's what it would be like. And you know, what was great about Move was coming in, finding a group of people that first and foremost it was about let's share some of the things that you want to improve on in your either your personal life or your business, etc. And together let's you know, be a sounding board for that in a safe space. And I thought that was absolutely brilliant.
And it is, it's the best. I mean, I just adore it. I host for Mark and Andrea. It's not hosting, it's nothing, it's just a joy. Absolutely. You know, it is just a place that is so special and so different. Yes, of course, we are trying to grow Move at the moment, but we are very, very clear that we only want a certain caliber of people. So, you know, if we wanted to just go for the strategy of numbers, we could have large groups, but it's not about that. It's all about the right people, you know, and it's about people who the basis is reciprocity, which was one of the first conversations I had with Mark at one of the meetings, is that I believe in reciprocity. And I teach people that, you know, the bank of give, you know, give referrals, help and help and help without any expectation. It's just the natural energy, and the reciprocity is really important to me. That's Move. I mean, they are incredible. I mean, Mark Waldron's probably the only person I know who leads by example fully. I don't know anybody else who does. And of course, Andrea is a phenomenal person with so much knowledge that she could just be a snob, really, but she's not. She's the most down-to-earth person. And it's just a joy to be part of Move. It's just a joy, and all my best friends are now at Move, and my new business partner, who I know you've met.
Yes, indeed. He has been on here as well.
Yes, he's my new business partner. I feel like I've won the lottery.
to have a little, he's had a little chat as well, and an incredibly interesting chat.
I saw it. I watched it. Yeah, I watched it.
Well, that probably was the you know, the deciding factor, wasn't it?
Could have been.
You know, if you want to work with Suzy, you need to come and do Move TV. You have to join Move first. So, you know, that's the criteria. But then you could end up working with Suzy. So, you know,
it's such a joy. So, business partner and everything from, I know Craig through networking. I speak to his belly button because he's 6'1" and I'm 5 foot.
That just shows great diversity, I feel.
Great diversity, but we just complement each other in every single way. So we've just joined this partnership's brand new, and we know we are going to kick the doors down.
That is fantastic. No, we will watch that progress.
Watch us
with anticipation. If you're connected to Suzy on LinkedIn, watch for that progress over the coming months as 2023 kicks in. 2023 just around the corner. Are you someone that enjoys a new year and the opportunity of a new year?
Absolutely, but not in terms of going out and partying, I'm afraid. I'm in my 50s now. I'm a bit done with all of that. So 100%. To be honest with you, Graham, I think every day is I think it's a blessing. Every day you wake up, you've got a new opportunity to start again. So I'm not that precious on it, you know, in terms of the fact that it is just another day. But
there will be people coming up to the end of the year, and then they'll be thinking, next year I've got to get better. So hopefully, you know, there might be some people out there watching this over the coming week who will be thinking, I've got to get my sales team better.
Yeah. Well, we've got a real opportunity at the moment in the Liverpool City region area, all 5 boroughs. We can actually, when I say we, it's Craig and I, because he's helping me rewrite the workshops, the emotional intelligence workshops, and we can offer that to businesses for free. So it's a little bit of a gift, but we're doing a lot of work, putting a lot of businesses through at the moment, which is, it's a bit of a gift for people in this area. Fully funded, 2 days, fully funded training.
Listen, Liverpool's got a lot happening in 2023. You've even got the Eurovision Song Contest.
It's the place to be. You might as well just move up.
Everybody just lift up your houses and move to Liverpool. It might become
just
a little
move
bit
up. It's so cool up here.
It becomes a little bit overcrowded. I actually like it here in the southwest of England. I think it's absolutely delightful. And what we'd like to see actually is ultimately move further out and actually be
more southerners, I say.
Oh, absolutely, because I love the Scouse accent as well. I have to say my subtitling software doesn't, but it struggles sometimes.
I bet.
Yeah. But we would like to see more of you from around the country. So anyone that was thinking that because you hear a lot of the Scouse accent on Move TV, etc., that it literally is only a Liverpool thing. It isn't. If you can join Move from anywhere in the country. There you go, Suzy. It's been an absolute pleasure. Finally getting to talk to you.
You too.
With some time, and I look forward to catching up with you properly outside of this in 2023 myself.
Are you coming to the social?
I would have done, but I have a proper excuse.
Come get you.
I have a proper excuse, which it is my my children's performance of their
okay, well, we'll let you off just on this one basis, but
of their Christmas light opera.
Oh, how
yes,
cute!
Because all of my children have partaked in the local light opera club.
That's really cute.
Which is good, isn't it?
So we'll let you off then, but next time, I'll be there to get you if you don't.
Very well. Next time, I'm gonna actually tell Mark what dates I can't do.
Yeah,
and then everyone else is going to have to, fit in around that.
Yes, we will do that. It will be lovely to meet you. 100%.
Absolutely. Suzy, it's been a pleasure having you on Move TV. Look forward to more Move TV next week. We have more guests for you, so keep tuned. If you haven't followed Move on the business page on LinkedIn or any of the other platforms, do it so that you get Move TV notifications as and when they happen. But for now, Suzy, thanks for joining me today. Bye for now, everyone.